very first time I watched The Seven Deadly Sins, I was hooked instantly. Not by the characters, not by the comedy, not even by the fights. It was the aura. The silhouette of 7 legendary figures standing against a ruined world. The way the opening spoke of warriors who once protected the land, only to become feared as traitors. It painted them as myths, legends, almost divine beings who carried both salvation and destruction in their shadows. It made me expect a story of fallen heroes, cursed by their own sins, weighed down by the very power that once made them protectors. But here's the thing, that promise was never fulfilled. The series was set for an epic tragedy, a myth written in fire and ruin, but instead, what we got was something far smaller, far safer than what was promised. Today, I want to talk about the gold mine that the 7 Deadly Sins sat on, the aura it built in those first moments, and how the story traded its mythic potential for something that never quite reached the heights it should have, trading its mythic potential for mediocrity. Welcome to Tales That Squander the Crown, Episode 1. Stories that had the crown in their grasp, but buried the gold instead. Tales that squandered their crown and gold they left buried. Series that sat on a gold mine with a narrative potential, but absolutely ruined it. I have gripes and grievances about those things because they get you so hyped, but fall flat on its face. Deadly Sins had everything set up for greatness, and then stumbled. It's a gold mine squandered, legends that never were, and one of those stories that betrayed themselves. We open up with an night apprentice and an old man walking through a ruined city, looking over a bloodbath filled with holy knights. Drums thunder in the background. It's already mythic. They butchered in the blink of an eye just by 7 people. That line alone made me hyped as hell. I thought I was about to watch something really special. I thought I was about to witness something legendary. Protectors damned by the kingdom they used to protect. Not. You got a perfect protagonist, band being weird with a child-sized fairy, and then with some of the worst tonal whiplash I've seen. You could say I was sufficiently disappointed. But around that 2-minute mark, we see what looks to be a disheveled knight wandering the land. A fleet version of the theme song in the back. I was somehow even more hyped. The Meliodas appeared on screen. I laughed at the jokes, I'll admit it, but over time, they just became eye-rolling. The patron mentioning the 7 Deadly Sins as tales mothers share with the young to make them behave. That gave me some hope. I felt the mythos again. The wanted posters and rumors only added to the fire. They had the perfect ingredients. Although, just a writer's nitpick, something that always bugged me. Why did Meliodas ask what the 7 Deadly Sins were? He has posters in the bar for fuck's sake. The only explanation would be plot convenience to explain to the audience, and that's where the cracks start to show. As the episode goes by, you see Meliodas' first interaction with Elizabeth was to inspect her curves. This was a major turnoff. I watched the show a few years back. I'm 19 now, so as the targeted demographic at the time, I was not impressed by the young pervert as main character. To be fair, I've always been an intellectual. In hindsight, some of his actions can be explained since Elizabeth was his love interest who got reborn over and over. Now I get that she's his reincarnated love and all that, but there's a difference between romantic tragedy and being written like a walking harassment lawsuit. Still, Meliodas being the leader of the sins was a good subversion of expectations. It had foreshadowed how the sins aren't what people think they are. You expect a towering hero, but you get a short smiling chaos gremlin instead. It could have been brilliant commentary on perception versus truth. But again, they fumbled the bag, an occurring pattern. Some ideas in this show are excellent on paper, terrible in execution, such as the scenes with Escanor making the commandments look weak and the Sins' tragic backstories. So here's what I thought. I was robbed of a show this could have been, so why not give it the rewrite it deserves? I'll have one rule, I must keep the characters' personalities and backstories, no rewriting characters entirely, but I will write some of the beginning sections that sound more epic, something truly worthy of the gold they squandered. The 7 Deadly Sins didn't need more jokes, it needed more myth. I'll write scenes with a focus on dialogue meant for an epic tragedy, not the half-hearted comedy we got. A foundation for a mythic reimagining of the 7 Deadly Sins. Something that treats their sins as both burdens and divine punishments, not punchlines. Now, sit back and enjoy my reimagining. The sins that shook the heavens. The weight of forgotten legends. Interior, Boarhat Tavern, night. The wind howls outside like a wounded god. The tavern flickers with dim candlelight. A few patrons huddle around their mugs, voices hushed, as if afraid the wolves might be listening. Patron 1. Lo, you heard what happened to the Holy Knights of Izel. Patron 2. Aye, butchered in the blink of an eye. Patron 3. Everyone says it was them. The fire pops. All fall silent. Patron 1. Whispering. The 7 Deadly Sins. The name carries weight, like a curse spoken aloud. The camera drifts across the tavern. An old wanted poster flutters, edges burnt, 7 shadows drawn upon it. Patron 2. Said they once protected the realm, then turned on their own kin. Patron 3. Monsters in human skin, or maybe gods who fell too far. The tavern keeper, Meliodas, stands quietly at the bar. He seems almost detached, polishing a glass, yet his eyes, for the briefest moment, reflect a storm. He smiles, too softly, too knowingly. Patron 2. Bah, old tales for old fools. 7 knights powerful enough to challenge kingdoms, if they were real, They'd have come back by now, Patron 1. That's what they said about the last war too, until the sky burned red with wings and flame. The door creaks open, a cold wind sweeps in, snuffing out half the candles. Every head turns, a figure stands in the doorway. Rusted armor, cracked helm, barely able to hold a sword. The figure staggers, collapses to a knee. Meliodas tosses aside the rag calmly. We don't usually serve ghosts. He approaches, the figure breathes, trembling. Then a faint voice soft echoes from within the helmet. Elizabeth, please, tell me where to find them. The 7 deadly sins. A beat. The tavern goes dead quiet. Meliodas stops mid-step. His expression doesn't change, but there does. Heavy, charged, like the calm before thunder. Meliodas, softly, a dangerous calm. There's a name I haven't heard in a long time. He kneels, tilts her helmet just enough to see her eyes. They're tired, kind, and desperate. Elizabeth, I need their help. The Holy Knights have taken the kingdom. Meliodas studies her. The broken armor, the trembling hands, the fire of resolve beneath her fear. He smiles again. This time not playfully, sadly, like a man who's seen the cycle return once more. Meliodas. Then I suppose it's time they woke up. Lightning cracks in the distance. The wind surges. A candle flares, illuminating the old wanted posters on the wall. Flames crawl across the faces of legends long buried. The screen lingers on the words, 7 deadly sins, wanted for treason against the kingdom. Maniacs appear as Meliodas is giving Elizabeth rest in a room. There is no groping gags here. They've taken over their kingdom? Really? I'm not surprised by that development, he says almost without surprise, gently laying Elizabeth onto the bed, wiping her forehead with a cool rag with odd gentleness. Elizabeth, not surprised? You're very knowledgeable for such a young tavern owner. But you know the sins? Meliodas. You could say that. He glances away in the distance, like thinking of old friends foggy in your memory. Perhaps too well. Elizabeth. Really? She jumps up toward him, grabbing his shoulders desperately. My kingdom needs our help. The strength is set to have once blocked out the heavens. Meliodas gently moves her hand away, as if scared he might break her. I'm sorry, Liz, but you're wasting your time. The sins are on the kingdom's wanted list for a reason. He glances off again. They are made martyrs for the kingdom's supposed peace. No, there's a real threat. They want the sins back. Now that's a funny joke, Elizabeth. I can vouch for them. As she says this, Sophie knocks at the door. The local knights have heard about the arrested knight in the area. Meliodas stands, his entire demeanor shifts. The lazy barkeep gone, replaced by stillness, the kind of stillness before a storm. Meliodas, stay here. He walks to the door, each step heavy with the past returning to haunt him. As he passes the wall, lightning flashes, and for an instant his shadow takes on, horns. He stops at the doorway, sighs, and murmurs to himself. Since the world's memory runs short, let's remind them why they feared the sins. He pushes the door open, wind howls, light bursts in. Then we cut to black, the 7 deadly sins. When gods fall, men remember. I had considered doing other scenes, but I wanted to put this video out by Friday. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want it.